Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And I'm Chris Yee.
And it is almost
Monday.
We're already... I like Mondays. I like Mondays because there's so much to do.
Well, I like Mondays because I feel refreshed after the weekend.
I feel terrible. I'm exhausted. But, besides that, I feel
drinking every Sunday night.
It's Monday morning drinking that really gets me, though.
For breakfast. But anyway, we're almost in March, which is like blowing my mind.
Yes.
Because I was looking at something and it said, I think it was a game release 2023, and I was like, well, that's next year. It is not next year.
I know when something's like Q2, I'm like, I gotta wait. Not long.
Yeah, that's true.
Sweet.
And in 1 week, Dice Tower West. So next week there will be no breakfast. There won't be most of our live shows. This year we're going to be doing a lot less videos while we're out in conventions because we need to not be tired all the time. But we'll have a few videos going up next week, but we have lots going up for you this week, so don't worry. There's plenty of things coming this week. So Dice Tower West is on the schedule. Dice Tower East, the tickets are starting to sell much more quickly because we're getting closer to it. And you can still find those at dicetowereast.com. We'll talk more about that in 2 weeks. There's a few hotel rooms, I think.
Okay.
All right, we have the contest, too. This is for a game called The Wolves, which you can see slightly behind Wendy. What? That's The Wolves. The Wolves is a game from Pandasaurus Games where you are a pack of wolves with your alpha wolves and regular wolves, and you're going around area control. I think we played it live on a Dice Tower.
We did during... I think it's during one of the spectaculars.
I think so.
But we've definitely pulled it out and put it up separately, so you can check that out. You can win a copy of this game, USAians. All you have to do to enter this contest, which is a 2-week contest, since there's no breakfast next week, is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word pack.
Pack it up.
Like a pack of cigarettes. Or a pack of gum.
Or a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is.
6-pack?
Like the little, hold your cans in a little 6-pack?
Got it.
Okay.
Hey, the little cans are coming in style, by the way.
I like the little cans.
They need to make more of those little cans. They're great for kids. Kids can never drink a whole thing of Coke. And then they take 2 sips and sit it there. And I'm like, are you going to make your kids drink that soda that I bought?
Well, even adults at parties, you take a few sips, you put it down, you realize there's 17 cans of Mountain Dew on the table, and everyone goes, I don't know which one's mine. Well, either be a grown-up and just drink a random one.
I don't think it's being a grown-up.
I think this is being an anti-germaphobe. No, I just feel like a can is too much for me. I just want the smaller can because that's the right amount.
In the body of your email, you need to put pack in the subject line. In the body, you need to tell us what is the cost of the dominate action in the game Wolves. Check it out. You can find the rules online or watch the gameplay of it. And also put your address so we know where to send it if you win. So.
And howl to the moon just for kicks and giggles.
Good luck, and don't do that. We heard a howling yesterday. We were here, and they're like, is that a wolf? I'm like, that's just a dog.
A dog.
Oh. There's not wolves hanging around here.
No.
We're not that. I mean, we're not too far from the
Everglades.
We're really close to the Everglades. If you look at the Dice Tower on a Google map and you pull out, you see a neighborhood, and then
the green preserve land.
Yeah.
You then see the Everglades. It's like nothing.
We just drove straight through the Everglades. We actually drove through something called Alligator Alley. We didn't hear a lot of howling, though.
Alligator Alley is a really cool place to drive through, actually. I really like driving through there. Yeah. You see all the different airboat places and alligators. It's nice. It's not as fast as...
We went too late, so we didn't see alligators. The sun was setting actively.
Well, then you definitely want to get out of there because there's also no light there at night, or not much.
Oh, and no cell service for about a good half-hour stretch. If we're going to break down anywhere, it would be here.
It'll be here. We'll get eaten by an alligator, and that's the last you will have heard of us. If we disappear, that's what happened.
The perfect crime. Hey, folks, we got a lot of stuff to get through, so let's get started.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University and the Dice Tower. One of the things that I've backed on Kickstarter, when I say things, it is a game, but it's not usually the games that I play. But because of the theme, I backed it. I backed it almost probably medium to high, not the full one. Makes me broke, but this is Avatar, The Last Airbender. So I don't know if you watch it. If you watched it, you know about Aang and the legend of its Sokka and everyone else. And it's really cute. It's super cute.
This is a role-playing game.
Nation. It is a role-playing games. There's the bags and everything, and there's basically this is the rule book. Now, don't get scared. This is also has got the legend of Avatar, what it's about, how do you play it, and that's the adventure guide, and there's extended play, and there's this nice dice. I even bought this blank notepad. Now, question is, have you backed anything? Have you backed a game, something that you probably don't really like that style of game, but you backed it anyway because of the theme? Taran is like observing himself in learning Avatar because he doesn't actually have.
Because I don't have much to contribute to this
Exactly. Now that you've read it, you have. So have you done it? Have you, bought something like this because you just like the theme? Now I am telling myself now I will make time in 2023 to play these role-playing games. I know some people that likes Avatar, watch Avatar, and that person, unfortunately, not Taran. No. But that's okay. Let us know in the comments. I just want to know, like, did you back Avatar? And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I recently went on the Dice Tower cruise, so I wanted to put together a little slideshow to tell you about my experiences. I went to the beach on the cruise and got sunburned. But I know you're really here to talk about the game, so I have the goods. I played about 27 new games, or 27 games in total. About 16 of these were new to me. These are all estimates. I don't track this type of thing. How many games did I win? I have no idea. Probably not many. But again, I don't track these things. Who did I play games with? Lots of lovely people, but I don't track that kind of thing. I taught about 8 games. Again, just an estimate. Number of points I scored in a game of Magical Athlete was 1. That is definitely an accurate number. The number of games I played on the cruise with Mike DeLisio that he personally imported from Asia was at 3. This is higher than previous years, but I do not see this decreasing in the future. In fact, I would imagine it will continue to increase. I was able to play a couple games that I'm going to highlight here. Furnace Interbellum is a new expansion for Furnace, and that was neat in what it added to the game with this new betting chip, but also some other cool Furnacey things. Basket Boss was the first game I played on the cruise and had a lot of fun with those guys who I was able to teach it to. Switch and Signal is a cooperative train game, which had some pandemic kind of vibes, but also you do a lot of trainee type things, and that was a lot of cool stuff, experiences. That was fun. The Gardens was disappointing. I really thought I would like it, and we ended up not liking it. It just wasn't very engaging, unfortunately, and just kind of felt like a retread of some other games that we've played. Milli Fiori, though, was a lot of fun. Probably my favorite game that was new to me on the cruise. It was really great. I love the chaining and the combos and so good. Really enjoy it. I'm going to try to find myself a copy. The game I played the most on the cruise was Furnace at 3 times. I just kept teaching it to people who needed teachers, and I would sit down and play it. Not game related, but number of steaks I ate was 2. I know this is accurate. This is higher than previous years, but this is a good number when it comes to number of steaks in a week. I definitely want to see this continue at this trend. Number of lobsters eaten was 1, which is lower than previous years on the cruise, but I hope that will increase in the future. And number of desserts I ate per meal was probably about 3. Again, I don't track these things, but that makes sense to me. Number of all play tables I won on the cruise, 0. That is similar to previous years, which were also 0. All play, if you're watching, I think you know how to find me. Total number of pots named Tony that I met on the cruise is 1. This is increased from previous years, but definitely a number that I would like to see kind of steady moving forward. I think that was a good number for me.
This is an increase from previous years.
I did not meet Tony.
Oh man,
Was Tony
Tony?
on the cruise ship or was Tony on
Tony was on the
port?
cruise ship. Yeah. No.
Really?
Yeah, it would definitely.
Can you feel Tony full of Frosted Flakes and he eats your cereal
That'd
for
be
breakfast?
great.
No, I'm afraid to eat anything out of something that's been painted by kids. Are you
Wash
kidding?
it first.
I,
Glaze it. Wash it.
So my favorite thing that I saw on the cruise, this made me think of it, was a guitar that was signed by all the members of the Rolling Stones, but the guitar was completely blank. The little placard next to it was like signed by every member, Keith Richards, blah, 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 you know. And I'm like looking on every side of this guitar. I'm trying to like look around the back side of like, where do they sign this thing?
Fingerprints.
Oh, okay. I was a little confused. So it says they signed it, but they didn't.
But there's
It
no
clearly did
signatures.
not.
Maybe someone stole it and replaced it with a regular guitar.
Nick Cage performing the perfect crime.
Oh my goodness.
Off a cruise ship. All right, folks, let's go back 40 years ago. Today we're taking a look at a game that, if you've never played it, I suspect you've heard of it, and that's Crossbows and Catapults, which is basically a pile of toys. In which you use crossbows and catapults to flick discs at the opponent's castles, and they made them so that they were often rubber banded up so that if you would like hit this, it would shoot up and the guys would fall off the top.
Oh, fun.
And they were discs. So there's another game that comes out in the same time frame called Weapons and Warriors, which was not a ripoff of Crossbows and Catapults.
Absolutely not.
That used little red balls. And just recently, there's a game out called Feuding Catapults or
Catapult Feud.
Catapult Feud, which is closer to Weapons and Warriors because it shoots the little orange balls rather than discs.
Okay.
Discs are probably better because they're more easily able to recover as opposed to the balls
they don't
bouncing
bounce
all
around
over the
so
thing.
far?
But also they then don't bounce around so far. This is best played on a flat 4 and all. My friends had these. They were too expensive for me to own any.
Well, what I learned from Nerf guns is I like the discs too because you can load up a bajillion in your gun and they just like go.
I don't think that's how these work. These were thicker discs, not like those real thin ones that those little guns used to have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love those discs. The disc shooting guns.
Yeah.
No, these are like
on the little
thicker. They're
engine
not
or
like
whatever.
maybe the size of Carabande, but think something along that line.
Oh, wow.
And most of them, crossbows, you pull back and then you would shoot it flat, and the catapults would hurl the discs. It's fun-esque, and I know people can say that. I just don't know how often it's actually been played, if that makes sense.
Like as a serious game.
As a serious game, you build stuff up and then you're like, oh, boom, 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 and you blow it up. And I don't know how often people set them up and play it against each other because I almost never saw that. I bought several packs of this when I became an adult and said I had money to buy toys, or didn't have money and spent it anyway on these toys.
There you go.
Right before I went to Korea, and then I don't know what I did with all the stuff. I was like, I need this for terrain for Warhammer because I was playing.
I like that you put on your serious adult voice, and your justification was a different toy.
Shut up. No, I did. I went to toy stores when I first was playing Warhammer. I would go to Toys R Us all the time and look at all the toys and see if there was a cheap toy that had terrain in it.
Yeah.
Because terrain back then, terrain is much cheaper these days. I mean, it's still not cheap, but it's much. When I was in the 90s, Warhammer terrain was.
I'm sure it's just more accessible
immensely.
too.
Yeah, that's true. Amazon didn't exist and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So, anyway, crossbows and catapults, good terrain for your Warhammer games, but also castles and things like that. It's fun. It's for kids. I think I've given it a 6. I'm gonna look now at my ranking here. What do you think I gave it? I think a 6.
Probably sounds about right.
5.5.
Right? Like it's.
No, it's got enough
You're
fun
saying
to
it's
it,
fun,
but it's
but
not
you're
worth
not.
buying.
Yep, I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crossbows and catapults. Yeah, it's fine. It looks neat. There's the discs. Maybe they are as big as Carabande discs. Those are pretty chunky discs.
They're pretty chunky discs.
Yeah, they are impressive. I mean, and
But they're not meant to be shot flat. They're meant to be lollop.
No, some of them are. That's what the crossbows are for.
Is that
See
the
'em?
right word?
The crossbow.
Oh, the crossbows also shoot the discs.
It pulls back and
It's the
shoots
same
it. So you
thing.
need a flat 4 to play these on.
Yeah.
are you doing this real time or is it turn based?
It's turn-based.
Okay. When I was in grade school and we got to play with the pattern blocks and the diamonds and the hexagons and the rhombi and everything, whenever we had a free play time, I was like, I want to play with the pattern blocks, and I'd get a couple friends together because the thin white diamonds were really good little catapult launchers, and so everyone had 3 of the big yellow hexagons as bases, and we try to knock it over each other's bases. I don't think that was the intent of pattern blocks, but I sure had a fun time playing with them. So I'm sure as a kid, this would have been awesome, but then I also might have just gotten out my pattern blocks instead for cheaper.
I wonder if you can find us on eBay. How much do you think it would cost on eBay?
$180.
75.
Well, you know what though? Oh, there's 83. We got to put in the 83 one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty cheap. You can get it for 25 bucks.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no, there's one that's
broken?
no, there's the whole game. That's without the box. There's a whole game without the instructions for $199.95.
Well, pretty close.
$275. There's one with the instructions for $125, but it's pre-owned from a cigarette home.
Pre-owned.
No one ever says that. They always say no cigarettes, but then there's like we smoked.
Look, we smoke. We have a couple loud dogs. The box might come with a lot of noise.
All right, this is kind of expensive, but you can buy newer versions of this kind of game and you'll be fine. Anyway, that's a game that came out 40 years ago.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Mickey's Christmas Carol from Funko. In Mickey's Christmas Carol, Scrooge will start here. If he ever gets to the end of the track, he will wake up and you will lose the game. You need to accomplish all 4 of these puzzles before he wakes up. What you'll be doing is you'll be drawing tiles from the back. You can press your luck and draw up to 5. If you draw tiles, you can choose 2 of them to play down. In this case, maybe I would do the 2 blue ones. The reason why you want to do the tiles of the lower numbers is if I accomplish them in order, each time I accomplish one, Scrooge will move backwards. If I do one out of order, say I did this one, before I accomplish the ones before it, Scrooge moves forward the number of spaces on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, which could push him towards winning the game and you losing. There are 3 special tiles that you can draw. This one is good. It allows you to ignore all special tiles that you draw, which allows you to draw up to 5 with no penalty. If you draw these 2, Scrooge will move 1 space, and you have to play all of the tiles that you play, not just 2. This one goes back into the bag. This one is discarded from the game. And you would accomplish all 4 puzzles before Scrooge wakes up. Mickey's Christmas Carol from Funko Games really hit a home run for us. We had a blast with this game. It does keep the storyline of Mickey's Christmas Carol intact by the puzzles you're putting together are really the ghost visiting Scrooge, and you have to accomplish all of that before he wakes up. If you're able to do the puzzles before he wakes up, you win the game. And that's really the main focus of the show also. So in that regards, it hit a home run. You're pulling tiles from the bag and hoping to fill those puzzles up in a certain order, and you can press your luck, which gives you not only interesting decisions, but gives you some tension in the game. This one is a really good one. My 4-year-old was able to play with us. He had a great time pulling from the bag and trying to finish the puzzles. Even afterwards, he just liked putting the puzzles together. That was a really cool aspect of the game. So does the IP and the mechanisms match? Absolutely. I feel like that filling the puzzles up and accomplishing the goals of the ghost before Scrooge wakes up nails this one, and this is a keeper for us.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about an escape room series until recently I had heard nothing about. It's the Holiday Hijinks series, which are either very small games or print and play escape room games. So I got hands-on with the Groundhog Gambit, which is the latest in the escape room series, and it's an escape room that lasted well over an hour with only 18 cards. So it's driven with these cards and then sort of an app, a website that you can go on, and that's going to allow you, when you see numbers on the cards, to go and look at what they are. So you see something on the wall on one of the cards, you type the number in onto the website and it tells you a little bit of information. Maybe you're taking another card from the deck, maybe it's taking you to a new location and different things like that. You're then slowly unlocking objects which interact with various things in the locations if you use your noggin to work it out, and that's how the sort of the escape room vibe works. I was really impressed with Groundhog Gambit and the whole system. The website had great things for the hints. You didn't need to know any information beforehand. It was all sort of on the website. And for 18 cards, it kept me really engaged because of that groundhog loop that you might sort of expect from that sort of name and theme. It really did work, going back to the same locations but not solving the exact same puzzles. An escape room series that I hadn't heard of, and I thought you might want to know. Well, that one was pretty good and I'm excited to try more of. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
All right, so what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well,
Only good stuff.
in 41 minutes, Z is doing What's Happening, and I'll be doing a Q&A at noon. We have a pretty interesting, boring unboxing, which makes that title a lie. Roy and I are taking a look at the new Summoner Wars expansions. We have lots of different reviews coming this week from various people. The big ones, Fiction, and Flashpoint South China Seas, and Hegemony. Somewhat small Euro game, except for the small part.
Bot Factory is actually a smaller Euro game. But it's a Lacerda. It's a Lacerda Junior, just like the Mercado de Lisboa.
Where's Bot Factory?
Wednesday? I think it's in Camilla's color.
That's why I didn't see it.
We have different colors on the schedule here. If something's not in your color, it's so easy to gloss right past it.
Just gone.
That's true. I have to look at multiple colors, though. I'm a various spectrum man. On Thursday, top 10 enemies of gaming with you.
That's me.
And Mike.
And
Camilla.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Here's a treat.
I just knew it wasn't Z, because Z has jury duty. So.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, so he won't be in Board Game Smorgasbord either. But
gotcha.
we'll be there. We got stuff coming up this week. All our live shows, of course. Board Game Smorgasbord, a double version of crowd surfing, because we'll be gone. So we always take a look at 2 weeks worth of stuff. Many things coming up. So there you go.
And do you want to talk about next week as well, since we won't have breakfast?
That's what we said we would talk about. Yes, next week. Like I said, there's not a lot of things going up, but the history of the Dice Tower, 2018 through 2022, is going up. This is filmed and edited. I'm sure that's not correct. I don't think Roy would have edited 2020 in the middle.
So that's weird.
Yeah, it must have been me. Anyhow.
So one video like a day, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that should tide you over till we get back from
Makes
West.
you still get something.
And talk about all the games that were there. All right. Well, there you have it.
Assalamu alaikum. Tiny Acrobats is a smaller version of Meeple Circus, but when they made the smaller version, I was very excited because again it was going to be a cheaper price points, a smaller box for a very simple game which was mostly a stacking game. So I went for this version as compared to Meeple Circus. But if you have seen the review for Tiny Acrobats by Tom Vassell, then you might find out that okay, this game has kind of problems and he still prefers Meeple Circus about it. But the problems can be easily overcome by just few rule changes by making it more like the Meeple Circus while using the same components from the Tiny Acrobats. So if you're interested in that, get the Tiny Acrobats Goes to the Circus expansion rule set, which are available on the BGG file section. So what I've tried to do is modify the rules, tell you where the rules are different for each of the phases of the game, how the game, instead of giving random components to each other, for example, it will be kind of a draft phase where the players get to choose which components they want to take, and in that way you change some of the basic rules of the game to make it more like Meeple Circus itself. So even if you get this smaller version, you still get to play mostly like Meeple Circus itself. So if you're interested in that, get the Tiny Acrobats Go to the Circus rule set from the BGG file section under Tiny Acrobats. That's it for me. Happy gaming!
Hello, Proti here, your Romanian content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of a game, and today we will talk about Cascadia. In Cascadia you will try to create your habitat, so to say, by drafting habitat tiles and by drafting animal tiles which you will place on the specific habitats. The point is you will score at the end of the game the habitats that you manage to make as big as possible from each specific habitat, and you will score for each animal in a different way because there are some scoring cards that are drawn randomly at the beginning of the game for each and every animal, and so all the animals are scoring in a different way. And this is exactly what I wanted to discuss about today, and these are the foxes, which are one of the animals that you will be able to score during the Cascadia game, and you will just select randomly one of those with scoring tiles for the foxes, and and this will be the fox's scoring tile for that specific game. But what I find interesting for the foxes is, yeah, maybe they as one fox are not making so many points, but because they are scoring depending on what's around them, and it is quite interesting, and I really like to position the different animals around them in a way so that the fox is scoring a lot, but in the same time maybe I am able to make some combinations for the other specific animal to get them to score too. So I find it really interesting how you can use the fox in a way to get some extra points, but not necessarily focusing on the fox, just focusing on the other animals and trying somehow to include the fox in the different situation that you created. And so this is what I wanted to discuss about this specific type of animal which has the specific scoring type, and this is the fox, and this is what I wanted to discuss about Cascadia. Have a nice breakfast.
All right, it's time to take a look at another shelf on a rack in the Dice Tower library.
That's very specific. Oh, it's true.
It's two shelves. That's because one shelf has basically all one game. You'll see in a moment.
Today, folks, we're going to be taking a look at two shelves in the Dice Tower library. And that's because on this shelf, all these games are essentially the same. In fact, I may have to get, well, these four anyway. In fact, one of these has another one inside it. We have Wrath of Charlon, Temple of Elemental Evil, Legend of Drist, Tomb of Annihilation, and I believe, what's the other one that's inside one of these? But there's a lot of these games. They're like D&D, very fun, cooperative games. But they're all pretty much the same with just different characters and things. They can all be mixed together. Assault of the Giants. In this game, you're a group of giants, from the lowly hill giants to the gigantic titans. And then you got humans running around fighting each other. It's a very interesting game. Xeno Shift Onslaught. This is a deck building style game in which you are working together to fight off a bunch of aliens. Then we got Massive Darkness 2, a great dungeon crawl. And The Godfather, which is sort of like the trilogy of games from Eric Lang, but set in, well, more Mafia times. Down here, we're including this shelf here. We got Heroes of Air, Land, and Sea. 2 boxes, so you can play a mega version of it if you want. 2 versions of Scythe, very popular game. We got the normal. This is just Scythe. Of course, it's upgraded and stuff. But then we got Scythe with Rise of Fenris inside, with a box cover that's not put on properly. I guess that would annoy people. Cthulhu Wars, this gigantic game. Dudes on a map, or Cthulhu's on a map. And then Fire and Axe, a Viking saga here. That's a kind of a Euro-style game, but it's on the shelf because it fits lengthwise.
I think we needed 3 shelves, Tom. 3 shelves.
Why?
Because I've only played 2 games on this.
Seriously.
And I don't like
if
either
nothing
one.
else, pick Scythe.
I don't like Scythe.
You like it more than I do.
Okay, well,
No,
the
I
answer
don't
here
know if
is
that's
Massive
true.
Darkness 2. Very clearly the greatest dungeon crawl ever made. It is a fantastic game. Yes, there are many other good games. In fact, I like every game on these shelves. But it is Massive Darkness 2.
Have you actually played all of the D&D games, like each of them?
Yes.
Okay. It makes sense you're a reviewer. I
It's
forget that time to time.
It's a bit since I played the last one, and I never did play the expansion. I got the expansion, which was an expansion to all of them.
Yeah.
And we never played that.
So I don't know much about them. Do they all feel different, even though they're the same-ish game?
I mean, it's just like different heroes and different monsters
different
you fight.
storyline or anything?
You might like them. I mean, they're not terribly complex. They feel more to me like a cooperative game than a dungeon crawl.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we might like those.
Pick The Godfather then.
I've not played The Godfather.
It doesn't preclude you from picking it.
I'm picking it.
I'm pretty sure that's a game that you would hate. Everything I know about it seems like one that Wendy and I would
don't know
not
what
love.
to tell you guys.
Is it like Cash and Guns?
No, it's like Blood Rage.
Yeah, no. I'm out. No, Scythe is probably the only one that I would play again.
I'm debating. So the two
Castle Ravenloft is not missing. It is in one of those boxes.
Oh, yeah, smooshed them together. Between the 2 that I played, which is Scythe and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, I don't know. I'd probably sooner go back to Land, Air, and Sea. Like, it's fun. It's enjoyable. I don't love the combat in it.
Roy's here.
Roy's
picking Air, Land, and Sea.
Yeah.
100%. He's the one we played with.
I like almost all
actually.
these games.
He
You
taught
guys
us.
are.
I think that there's several I would enjoy. You know what? It's funny. The one that I want to try most probably on here is Cthulhu Wars. I'm very curious about that because
I heard it's an essential game.
It is essential. Yes. All
right. So you don't really like Scythe that much?
You know, I haven't found myself enjoying it. No, and I've given it like 5 different tries.
I've given it less tries.
I don't
I've
think
played
you
it
have
2.5
to.
times.
I don't know. It's funny. Every time we walk away from playing it, you're always like, "Hey, I would play that again."
I liked My Little Scythe. I think that was the right length. See, the thing is with Scythe is I
My
like
Little
the
Scythe
player
is not-
board. No, it's not Scythe. But I like the player board, but I don't really like everything else that's going on. I don't know.
All right, well, Scythe is great. But Massive Darkness 2 is where it's at. If you guys haven't played Massive Darkness 2, you need to. It's a great dungeon crawl. It's amazing.
It's great, and I have to.
Essentially.
That's like a job requirement.
I didn't say that. But everyone who's played it has liked it.
I bet I would. I love that asymmetry, like those mini games, like that. When you had it set up one day and you were going through it, I was like, oh, this actually sounds interesting. It doesn't just sound like here's your big dungeon crawl, roll dice, hit things. You know, the fact that you could play like your own little mini game, but your
that's fun.
cooperator can do it.
It's Merchants at the Merchants Cove
Yeah.
mixed with Zombie Side. That's a pretty good
Interesting.
approximation.
I do
be down
actually
for
want to. I do want to try that one. You're right. Step aside, Essential Cthulhu Wars. Massive Darkness 2 is coming my way.
Also, Scythe is a great game.
Sorry.
Hello, this is Oliver, and this game that we're going to be talking about is a really easy strategy game called Ragnaroks. Ragnaroks is kind of a super cool Nordic themed game where really you're just kind of moving runes and stuff and trying to trap your opponents and get the most points to win the game. And this game, I think it's really cool because I think the components are really good. How you set the board on top of this little tree stump looking thing. And the minis are really nice. And even like the runes that you use, because you only have you have a bunch of runes and then you have your characters. Which, yeah, it's pretty simple. And I also like how it's not a lot. Like, there's games with, a lot of minis and stuff like that. I like how it's condensed so you kind of know what you're doing a little more. So you don't have to, grab minis from the box, kind of, if you're playing, like Marvel Zombie Set or something like that. Another thing I like is player powers. I think player powers are really cool because it gives you... I obviously say this a lot, but it gives you a slight advantage over your opponent. Another thing is, it's pretty easy. Really, all you're doing is you're moving your character and then moving your rune adjacent, or, in the way that your character can go. So I think that's a really cool part of the game. And yeah, it's just a really fun, simple game, and I think you should check it out. And I kind of like how, you can get in a really small area with your opponent, and you can, trap them and just get enough points, because you can, trap them where they're only in one, so you win that area, because I think the contestedness of that is fun. And alright, I think that's all for me today. Have a great breakfast. Bye.
I'm sorry, these are the greatest things on earth.
It's a real thing. I like tight shoes.
10 out of 10.
I do the heel lock too on some of my shoes because I have to get it real tight.
We're talking about Skechers. I just got a new pair of Skechers, and I will always get Skechers. Also, for once, I told my wife I was way ahead of the curve. So I went to the shoe store, and every pair of shoes, not every pair, but more than half now seemingly don't have tie.
Don't have shoelaces and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we've kind of devolved back.
People be lazy.
That's great. When I was in college, I bought Velcro shoes. And see, look at that. That's nonsense. I was like, ha ha ha, you have Velcro. I'm like, but they're so easy to put on.
I know.
Old man shoes.
And everyone would be like, ha ha, you're wearing Velcro. I was right.
Mine just are stretchy.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, you guys like the slip-ons.
But these are actually called slip-ons. It's amazing. They're fantastic. Okay.
I'm mostly just lazy.
Today we're taking a look at 90 years of play. It didn't work. Okay.
Hoping it would zoom back out.
All right, so I found out about this is a board game, and I'm not doing a review of this game. I'm just showing it off here. I'm not doing a review of this because this was given out as a gift 2 Legos through Asmodee, actually, somehow on here.
To Lego, like the company.
To the people who worked at the company. The game developer is Corey Kineska, actually.
How did you get a copy then? You don't work
I
for
went
Lego?
and found it on eBay.
We have connections. And by
On
connections,
eBay.
I mean we are able
Lego
to...
connection?
So this came out last year, and what this is this is the game Timeline, but with Legos. And so in here, they have a bunch of cards, and you need to put them in order. Go watch my review of Timeline to see how it works. And they'll ask you, for example, when did Lego's Friends theme launch?
Oh, Friends? That's got to be 2016.
Not. I'm gonna say the 90s. I think these were out in the 90s.
Like the girl.
2012.
Well,
Hot dog, I was pretty close.
Yeah, it was like, because there were girl Legos in the 90s, but they weren't Lego
I like this one. The Lego Group celebrates its 90th anniversary, which incidentally, 90 years of play here. We'll go with 2022. What? On the nose. But there's also things on here like this has the fall of the Berlin Wall, and then it shows that in Lego form, which was 1989, right? Boom.
89.
Anyhow, so there's a mixture of things about Lego and then a mixture about real world events. This is cool. I got it because it's cool, and this is a neat thing. I don't think everyone needs to own this, but I'm putting it in the Dice Tower library because I like to have games that no one, I don't know,
yeah, it's unique.
It's fun. You come to a convention, you can pull this out and say, look, I played something that was really, really unique.
That only people at Lego get to play. And you.
But also, you can just own Timeline.
There must be a lot of these out there. I'm sure Lego's not a small company, but they have a lot of employees. So if they gave this to all their employees,
Right.
there's got to be thousands of these in existence.
But I do love that it's just Timeline, right? So it's it's something slightly exclusive, yes. But you could also buy like any of the Timelines, and you have the same game. And,
that is correct.
I just actually talked about Timeline last week in that review of the VHS party game, where you just guess years that things came out. I said, no, Timeline's a much better game. Something about that little aspect of trying to slide it between two different events, that's so much fun to me.
No, you should have said 90 Years of Play is a better game.
Dang it, if I had known, Tom.
If you can find us on eBay, it's worth getting if you like Lego for sure. I've played it, I've messed with it, it's fine. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I have no idea when this Lego piece was built.
Right.
But
when was the Lego Saturn V rocket made?
Christmas tree shaped Funyun piece.
Well, there you go, folks. That's 90 Years of Play from Lego.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Mythic Mischief. This is from Ivy Studios. In this game, basically, it's a two-player game in its main form. You can play a solo mode or up to 4 players with a team mode. But in this game, what you are doing is you are in this kind of world where there's monsters and vampires and creatures of all kinds. They all have special abilities that match up to their thematic tastes. What you're doing is you are in this library, this kind of this magical library, and you're getting as many books as possible. Sounds wholesome, right? However, you're not supposed to be there. There's a tome keeper, basically a big old mean librarian, who's going to be chasing you, trying to get you out of this library. So what you were trying to do is you were trying to avoid getting caught while making sure that your opponent's characters do get caught. That's very, very puzzly and a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun with this game. This is probably the game that in this season, I want to play the most. This is the game I'm liking the most in this moment right now. I had so much fun at moving my characters around, trying to get Ryan's characters to get caught, and trying to make sure that all my actions are being used most efficiently, which can be annoying because it can take up some time, but it doesn't bother me when I take up time. So there's that.
Lots of variety in this game. Each faction's different, and there's actually some even expansion factions as well. They give you different varieties of ways you can move around the board, different ways that you can move your opponents around the board. You can even move the Tome Keeper himself around this board. How often do you do that? Go into a library and just start pushing the librarian around? Not very often.
No. When it happened at a real library, we would just call the police. But anyway, if you want to find out more from us, you can find us on our YouTube channel. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany. Hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye
guys.
There you go, folks. John, thanks for the super chat, and thank you all for watching. All 200 plus of you should also just slide right over in 21 minutes to watch Z as he plays something. on what's happening.
Great sales pitch there.
Well, no, I don't know what the game is. I don't know what the game is this week.
Keep vamping. I'm going to see if I can't pull this
The
up.
game is going to be
www. Period.
Is it Concordia?
You could play
Concordia.
Ooh, I like
YouTube. Period.
Concordia.
Com.
See,
It's
if that was
Concordia.
on a shelf, I would pick Concordia.
Roy Google dot
Good one.
food you. I probably shouldn't put that combo together. All right. Thank you all for watching. We got lots of stuff to do. We got a million things to record and prepare for. Ask Roy. It's a busy week. But Dice Tower West next week. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'll see you all at noon.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.